Welcome back to another edition of Coach's Corner brought to you by Fats Cafe. I'm your host, Katelyn Grisillo, and joining us today from the cross-country team is Coach Kara. Thank you for joining us today, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
So first of all, can you give us a little recap of what happened in the Peach Belt Conference Championship?
Sure. We had an exciting weekend last weekend. On Saturday, we ran against the other Peach Belt schools that have cross-country teams, and it was some great weather, and the girls were very excited, very nervous the night before, and very excited on race day. And they were, understandably wanting to run some faster times since we ran on that same course earlier in the season for the pre-conference race at North Georgia. And some people got those faster times and some people were just a little bit shy of that. But we did run very close together as a pack. I saw that a lot of the girls were able to stay closer together and allow less points in between them. Mm-hmm. And we actually finished right above Francis Marion, that we've been kind of jockeying for position all season, and so we were happy with our finish.
Wow. Okay, so now is running in packs something you strive for in cross country?
It is. Although we'd love for everyone to be at the front of the race, you want also there to be a good packing together, because we're looking for the lowest score, since the first runner in the race gets 1 point and the second 2 points and so on. You're looking for your top 5 to be the closest to the front of the race and be really close together so that there aren't opponents in between getting those points and putting your score further back.
Right.
So I've been trying to get them to run together because they train together in practices, and so they know how their teammates run races, and they can also kind of know what their times are going to look like. So I really encourage some of them to try to push themselves to get with one of their teammates and get up there with them, and some of them were able to do that, and then they kind of stay encouraged and keep pushing each other along, and so that was very helpful for them. Okay,
now Bethany Fordham seems to be one who has kind of been on the top of the list all season. Can you talk to us about her performance individually?
She had a great performance. I think she was feeling good. We were a little worried about her after the previous race at Francis Marion because her hamstring was hurting her a little bit, but we took it real easy with that, and she got some help in the training room, and we just really tried to help her to be her best on Saturday. And she did better her time a little bit, and she was 60th overall. And I was also pleased to see one of her teammates was just 3 places behind her. Amanda was 63rd, and really tried to keep Bethany within a short distance and try to get a fast time as well.
That's awesome. Okay, now moving forward, you're preparing for regionals.
We are.
Where will those be held?
They're at Wingate University, and so we'll be headed up to North Carolina next weekend.
Okay.
They'll be on Saturday, November 7th.
Okay. And how's the course there? Are you familiar with it?
I am familiar with it. I ran there a couple times in college because it was our regional course for a while I was in college. And actually in 2008, my team ran there and were able to qualify for nationals at that meet. The course is mostly grass. It does have some wooded areas and some dirt. There is one section where it crosses a little bit of gravel parking lot. But it's a fairly flat, fast course, and just a couple of rolling hills. It's a very scenic course, and it's just kind of behind a lot of their athletic complex, and also goes by their driving range, and is a fairly simple course with not a lot of turns, and I think that they'll be able to run some really fast times on it.
Okay. Now there should be about 20 to 30 teams, right, in this?
That's right.
And who would you say is one of your biggest, who would, in your eyes, would you say is one of your biggest competitions in this race?
That's a good question. We haven't seen a lot of the other regional teams yet this season. We didn't go to any of the big invites like they had for a pre-regional. But we're mainly hoping to stick close to some of the other Peach Belt schools like Georgia Southwestern and Francis Marion. Since we've run against them several times, our girls kind of know how to match up against some of their girls and what their girls typically run as times. So I think that we'll just try to find those girls in the race and stick with them and hopefully pass some of our region opponents as well.
Okay. Now, specifically, do you have any expectations for the team individually, or is it just an overall goal, stick with Peach Belt opponents?
Yeah, I don't have a specific goal. I'm just hoping that we do the best we can do. But I am hoping that each girl is able to clock her fastest 6K for the season. Okay. That's the way our training plan is geared towards, is that we're running a lot of mileage and intense speed workouts earlier in the season, and then we back off by the end of the season. So our legs are really fresh and really healthy, and I hope that that'll give them a little bit of extra speed in this last race, and they can really bring home some fast times.
Okay. Now, after regionals comes nationals. If nobody happens to make it to nationals, what will be the plan for your team come springtime?
Great question. We're already looking forward to our spring season. The girls will take a little bit of time off completely from running, maybe do some cross training. We want everyone to be healthy again before they start loading the mileage back on. A couple of the girls are planning on doing some road races on their own, so some of them already have some training planned for that. One of the girls is running a marathon, and some of the other girls are looking at some 5Ks or 10Ks and things like that. But we'll also have a very short spring track season. We usually do that from March to April, and that's something that the NCAA allows for runners in cross country who don't have a full track team, is that we can have a non-championship spring track season, and we can go to up to 5 track meets and have a certain number of practices within a 45-day period. So that comes out to about 3 practices per week, and we'll take off spring break, and we'll probably go to about 2 track meets. They'll do mostly distance events to actually prepare for cross country. And then we'll be doing a lot of the same workouts, some long runs, some easy runs, and some speed workout to prepare for cross country in that time. Okay.
Now, are they allowed to participate in any event? Have you had anyone desiring to pole vault in a track meet? Or
we have, yes. We've had a pole vaulter. Brittany May graduated in the spring, and she was a pole vaulter in high school, and she continued that while she was here on the team. And there are some other girls that are interested in hurdles, steeplechase, and some of the other running events. I tend to encourage them to do more of the longer distance rather than the 100-meter dash. But even like the distance medley relay has a 400, so sometimes they might even be running a 400-meter dash.
Okay, well that sounds very exciting. That was interesting to know that. Well, we wish you the best of luck in preparation for regionals.
Thank you so much.
That wraps up another edition of Coach's Corner, brought to you by Fats Cafe with Coach Kara. I'm your host, Katelyn Grisillo. Thank you for watching.